What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are discussing AEW Dynamite. They had their weekly show this week and they branded it as a tag team appreciation night. However, all in all, it was a pretty disappointing show in my opinion, and I'm going to get onto why exactly I didn't really enjoy it and why I wasn't happy about it. So if you want to hear my opinions on that, make sure you stay tuned. Right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you click the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell as well so that you get notified every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the review. So I'm going to take today's show to really touch upon the key things that happened on AEW Dynamite last night, and the biggest thing for me was the TNT Championship match, Cody versus Scorpio Sky. The TNT Championship is now finished, by the way. If you didn't get a look at it, I'm sure you'll see it somewhere on social media. It's got all the gold in it now. Looking like a much better formed belt. They probably should have held off on it until now when it was good to be ready. But they went with what they had anyway. And I guess we've all kind of got over it at this point. Ignore it or accept it for what it is. But yeah, the new one was seen on Dynamite. So, Cody versus Scorpio Sky. I definitely feel, especially with what they've been doing on Scorpio Sky on Dark, that this match should have either been a win for Scorpio Sky, or at least if it's not going to be a direct win on the night, you start building up something for the future. Guys, in my opinion, we did not get either. Cody beat Scorpio Sky clean win. Guys, what does that do to everything that Scorpio Sky has been putting in and saying on Dark? You've literally just washed away, I think he's had 7 straight wins. And it's just gone now because there wasn't even like the respect of Cody cheating to win or some shenanigans, someone getting involved. Cody just beat him and everything Scorpio Sky has been working towards, and that story seemingly, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen next week, but seemingly has come to nothing. And I just feel like it's just such a deflating way to end what has been a very good road so far for Scorpio Sky. I definitely expected Cody to cheat to win, and then maybe they have a rematch at All Out and Scorpio Sky picks it up there. Nothing of the sort. Even the fact that Brody Lee came out afterwards to lay claim to being the next challenger for the title, he's going to challenge next week. Why didn't they just have some Dark Order goons come out, disrupt the match, no contest, and then Brody Lee can have his match, maybe lose, and then maybe we get back to Cody Scorpio Sky? I just don't understand where they're going to go with this from now, especially for Cody. Like, is Cody going to beat Brody Lee next week? Because if he does, the question still remains, then what? Is Cody going to get into a story with any of these guys? You see what I mean? Like, there has to be something that pays off. Otherwise, Cody's just beating everyone on the roster. You see what I mean? If you guys remember back to when John Cena was doing his US Championship Open Challenge, I think back in 2015, yes, he was beating people until Kevin Owens showed up. And then him and Kevin Owens got into a little program before Kevin Owens beat him for that championship. These open challenges need to come to an end somewhere, because right now Cody is just running through the entire AEW roster and the entire indie scene. So something has to give. Is it going to be Brody Lee next week? Are we going to get some context to why Scorpio Sky lost clean, and are we going to get back around to that story? Guys, if you have any suggestions of what they can do now with Cody and his title reign, put it down below in the comments, because I'm all out of ideas and I don't know where we're going with this. Guys, I'm next going to talk about the women's champion Hikaru Shida. But before I get onto her, if you are enjoying today's review, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button, give us a like. It does a lot for the channel and I thoroughly appreciate it. So Hikaru Shida faced Heather Monroe in a match. I don't know who Heather Monroe is. She was just a local jobber is what I assume. And Hikaru Shida beat her in a relatively quick match. It was somewhat competitive, but it was a very short match. Guys, what are AEW doing in their women's division? Why has their champion not got a feud? Someone she's up against, someone she's knocking heads with every week. She's just so passive, and Shida is one of the few champions that has actually been consistently on the show. More in the crowd, if we're being honest, but she has been around. You see what I mean? When Riho was champion, Riho wasn't really there. Nyla Rose, they gave her an incredibly short reign. Hikaru Shida has been a fixture on AEW since the beginning, since Riho was champion. Now that she's got the belt and she's constantly there, why don't they give her something more meaningful to do? AEW are really struggling with their women's division, in my opinion. So much so, I would have even taken off this match from the card and even given some spotlight to the tag team tournament, the women's tag team tournament that they're currently just doing on YouTube. You might as well put that on TV just to give the women a bit more segments and just more exposure. In my opinion, they're really struggling in the women's division, and Hikaru Shida, she's struggling as women's champion to get over, in my opinion, just because she hasn't got a real story. We all know how good of a wrestler she is, but she needs something to sink her teeth into. Now, again, I've mentioned this once before, I think they are just waiting for Britt Baker to be cleared and take the women's championship, and that might be what sets the whole division alight. But until then, it is going to be more of the same, I think, and it's not really good enough. To end on a better note, we had Chris Jericho taking on Orange Cassidy. The winner of this match, I think, had to basically pay for the repairs of Chris Jericho's $7,000 jacket. It was the $7,000 obligation match. And we had Orange Cassidy pick up a win here. Massive win, probably the biggest win of his career. And we probably knew this was going to go like this. Chris Jericho won their first match, Orange Cassidy picks up the win here, and it's just been a really good story told. Chris Jericho here clearly just wants to put some light on the younger talent, allowing somebody else to shine off the back of his name, something that people may not have done for Chris Jericho when Chris Jericho was coming up, especially in the WCW days. Orange Cassidy got a really big win here. Really good. And even Orange Cassidy as a character, I know before the last couple of weeks we just got a lot of the same with him, hands in the pockets, dead silence. He was becoming a bit of a punching bag, if you ask me, not getting much offense in on anybody. But in the last couple of weeks he's really flipped the switch. We've seen him talk, we've seen his offense come out. He's really developing and showing that he's not just a one-trick pony. So to be honest, this was probably a really strong highlight for me from AEW this past week. So yeah guys, for something that was posed as such a big show, the Tag Team Appreciation Night, we did get a lot of good tag team wrestling. I know I didn't go into it in detail today, but it was a good show in that respect. But as a whole, in terms of story development and things like that, I'm not too happy with a couple things, especially around Scorpio Sky and how they are treating Shida as the women's champion and the women's division on AEW. This week I actually discussed the AEW women's division with A Dazzle on our show Wrestle Extra. You can see that video on my channel now if you want to see in more depth our discussion about the AEW women's division. Guys, if you enjoyed today's review, please make sure you leave us a thumbs up. It's thoroughly appreciated, like I said earlier. And if you are new here, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time that I drop a new video. And that is it for today. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I will see you soon.